For this log, this would be the extended TextFormField widget. Now this would be the preview for this log. Now in the main.dart file, we're just clean the code. Then we're going to supply a new title, which is a text form field. Then debug show checked mode banner to false. Then we create a stateful widget and we set that as our home. Now we're going to replace the container with a scaffold widget. Inside the scaffold, we will have an app bar and with a title with a text widget with a value of text form field. Inside the body, we will have a center with a child of column, and the column will have a main axis element to center, and we will have a children. First, we're going to create the controller where controllers for the text form field. This would be underscore name controller. This would be a username. This would be email. This one would be the password. Now the second thing that we're going to do is to override the init state to initialize our where we initialize the controllers that we created inside the state function, init state function. Third, we're going to override the dispose function to dispose our controller that we created. Now save it and restart your application. Now here we create our controllers, then we initialize inside the init state, then we dispose it inside the dispose function. We have a scaffold, then inside the scaffold we have an up bar and a title, then we have a body of center, then a child of a column with a main axis to center and a children. So inside the children we will have a text form field. So this text form field will be the name text form field. Now we have our text form field. So in the column, we wrap our column with form widget. Then we supply the key with underscore form key that we create here. This will be a global key and a form state object. So here we wrap the form key with padding, and then we change it in a symmetry with a horizontal 15. Then inside the text form field, we have a validator, If the value is null or is empty, we return please fill with your name. Then here we return a null. Well, you can actually supply it for more validating, but for now, for simplicity's sake, we just put it null. Now we create a floating action button. Now we have a floating button action widget. We have on press and we have a child with an icon. So inside the on press function, we have an anonymous function and we make a show dialog. And inside the builder, we return alert dialog. Then an alert dialog will have a title content, which is a single child scroll view widget with a child of column. And we set the cross axis alignment to start. Then inside the children, we have a text widget. Then we supply an action with text button. Inside the net, we have a navigator that will navigate back to the page or the root page. Then we're going to clear out our controller. Then here we're going to utilize the validation. Now we test that. It's looking good. Now if you don't supply a value, you will have a validation. So if you supply a value, then the dialog will pop up. So we created an isValid object that holds a current state of the underscore form key if the validation is valid, so we can actually proceed to show the value. Now we test that. It's looking good. Now if you don't supply a value, you will have a validation. In our text form field, we supply the keyboard type, the cursor color, the decoration with label style. We enable the border and focus border and also the border, and we give it the styles. So copy the text form field, then we're going to here we create a spacer with a cons size box with a height of 20. Now here we have a comment. This part will be our username text form field. So we're going to paste it here. We're going to replace the label text to username. The controller will be a username controller. Then our keyboard type will be text. Then our validator will be a username. And then yeah, we can save that. And yeah, we're going to copy again, and then we're going to paste it here. Then we're going to replace the username to email. The controller will be underscore email controller. For that for the keyboard type, it will be .email address. Then the label text will be email. Then save that. So we're going to copy this and we paste it here and save that. Then we're going to replace this to password, and then we're going to replace the keyboard type with obscure text to true. Then we're going to uh, have an autocorrect to false. Then we will have a text capitalization to no, not yet. We're going to delete that first. Let's see, capitalization, text capitalization. So these are the values that you can actually change. So we're going to have an enable suggestion to false. Then these are the values that we can actually change. So the text capitalization is already set to none, but let's see. Okay, I think it's fine, but well, let's explicitly say here that the text capitalization is a text capitalization none. Set that to password. So we have a controller, obscure text, auto correction, then enable suggestion and text. Now here, if you press this button, our floating button, the validation is functioning. Oh, so we need to change our controller in the password. This would be a password underscore password controller. So save that. Now let's test that again. Email.com, then your password. Now no, we're not showing anything because we need to supply our show dialog. So copy paste. Now let's test this again. Let's test that again. As you can see, it's working. So here we create our controllers, then we initialize our controller, then we dispose our controller. So for the body, we have a center, then we have a padding of symmetry, then we have a form widget, and for the key, we created here the underscore form key, and then For the child of that, we have a column, and we set our column the main axis alignment to center. For the children, we created our text form field. So this form field is for the name. So we have the validator, then the controller, a keyboard type, a cursor color, then a decoration, and we give that decoration. Then for the username, validator, controller, text board type, we have cursor color and decoration. So same here for our email. We have validator, we have a controller, keyboard type, which is email address, a cursor color, and the decoration. So for the password, let's change our comment here for this would be a password. So we for the password text for field, we have our validator, then a controller. We have a obscure text to true, then autocorrect to false, enable suggestion to false, then text capitalization to none. So we have a cursor color, then a decoration. So there. So we supply our floating bottom action with floating action button widget with an on press and a child. So for the child, we have an icon widget, and then we in the on press we have an anonymous function. Inside on it we have an is valid object that will handle for our validation. So we create our show dialog. So inside the builder we have an anonymous function that will return alert dialog. Inside of it we have a title content. The content was single child scroll view widget with a child of column. The cross axis alignment is to start. For the children, we have a text widget, and we supply the action, and that action will have a text button widget. So the on press will have a navigator that will navigate to the root page, and then we're going to clear the controller if we press OK. So I think that's it for this log. Then we're going to test the application again. It's working properly. So thank you for watching.